Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is yours, Dave, and I got a special guest, Pro Mod driver Eric Peterson. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing really good.
So you're in the Extreme Pro Mod class, right?
That is correct.
So now, how many years you been doing this now?
I started racing just out of high school, so that was 1988. I quit for a few years, and then a friend of mine talked me into. I had a '69 Firebird that we made a drag radial car that I ended up crashing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway at Streetcar Super Nationals in 2011, I believe.
So now, what made you get in? Oh, go ahead.
After I crashed that car was when I got my pro mod.
So now, what made you get into drag racing in the first place?
My dad always had hot rods, and I don't know, it just seemed like the thing to do, I suppose.
Now, did you ever do any bracket racing?
No. Anytime I went to bracket races so I could run my car, but I never could manage to figure out how to lift.
So now, with the car you're currently driving, what kind of car is that?
It's a 1951 Chevy, twin turbo Hemi. Now, when we first put it together, it had a big Chevy motor in it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking car.
It's a pretty nice car. When I crashed my car, I went over to a good chassis builder friend of mine, Randy Parker. He races top alcohol funny car, and his wife races top alcohol dragster. Actually, it's a nitro dragster, but I told him that I wanted to borrow a funny car to put all my gear in, just to see how fast I could go, because I was always limited to the small tire. And he asked me, he's like, "Why do you want to do that?" And I said, I can't afford a pro mod right now, and I know you got a bunch of funny cars laying around, so I want to go fast. And he said, "Well, I got a really good deal on a pro mod back there that we haven't even put up for sale yet, and I'm sure we can make you to where you can afford it." And we made a deal, and never looking back.
So what's the quickest pass you made with that car?
Well, the fastest we went 630 at 240 with the big block Chevy with twin turbos, but we couldn't keep the motor alive. So we switched it over to a Hemi, and we were just starting to get it figured out. We went 248 miles an hour, but it was really lazy off the line. And that was the last race of the season. We were in Bakersfield. And so we brought the car home, and then did a bunch of changes on the car to get it all to work. And at the same time, I had to buy a new house, and we're just getting ready to bring it back out again. So not as fast as the whole group, but it has all the parts to be as fast.
It's funny, when you were talking about wanting to try to drive the funny car, I was thinking about Stevie Fast driving a funny car now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He did pretty good in that thing, too.
Yeah.
And he's sure good for the sport. He caused a lot of controversy, but I think our sport needs a little rivalry.
Now, when you first got into drag racing, did you have any drag racers that you looked up to?
I can't really recall. Anybody that I ever asked for help at the track, they were always just great people to be around, and it's just fun just to go and be there. It's just as fun today as it was back then. It's just a little bit more complicated.
Now, do you look up to any drivers in NHRA at all?
I do. I look up to guys like Stevie Fast, and most of the pro mod guys are I'm a big John Force fan, mostly because everybody hates on him. So, not everybody, but there's always a group of people that are jealous, and usually people are jealous of the fastest people there are. So, I think anybody who's good for the sport I look up to, because that's what the sport's all about. It's about being good to the sport and good to the fans. Make sure you take the time to put a couple kids in the driver's seat when they're eagling on your car.
Yeah, the pro mods with the NHRA, they had their big weekend in India over the weekend, huh?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it, but it sounded like there was a lot of carnage. It sounded like 2 or 3 cars crashed for sure.
We need almost all of them put the Trump on their cars.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was kind of upset with the NHRA when they made that big deal about that whole thing, because I don't want to bring politics into it, but there's one side that supports drag racing, and there's another side that wants to shut down drag racing.
Yeah.
That's just honest facts. So the NHRA should be standing behind him, because he's the one that wants to stand behind all of auto racing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Eric Trump was at that event.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw him. I think he was warming up Eric Anders' car, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then she happened to win, too. And then he threw President Trump threw some props into her, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah. So,
not too often us lowly drag racers get a little love from the President of the United States.
Yeah. That's what I've noticed. Most of the people I know in the sport of drag racing, I'll support them.
Yeah, it's a great sport where everybody helps everybody, and I've seen people take motors out of their car to give it to somebody because they were out for the race. And I've seen guys in Bakersfield that crashed their car that won the round and didn't go on the scales because they knew they couldn't go any further. So to allow the other competitor to try to win, it's an amazing sport where people really take care of each other.
Yeah, you can't beat that camaraderie.
I've enjoyed every bit of it, and I've thought about hanging it up, but I just keep buying car parts, and I'm almost ready to go. I have EFI store helps me a ton. That's Brian Macy out of Lake Havasu, Arizona, and we just put all new injectors in the car, and we're pretty ready to go. We got to have the training gone through, and then we're just going to wait for this coronavirus business to be done with. We were planning on going out this year, being ready, and then this whole thing happened, and I kind of just dialed it back a little bit.
No, Eric, after all the years of drag racing, what still keeps you passionate about it?
Going fast. That's my favorite part. My favorite part is, backing up from the burnout, and, the butterflies in your stomach when you're pulling up to the start line, and, basically it's like a gun. You just point it and pull the trigger and hang on. And it's just, the excitement is just unbelievable.
So what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer?
Probably the friends that I've met along the way. I'm going jeeping and camping with Mike Baggio. He's a California pro mod racer. This is in 2 weeks we're going to Utah. So I live in Washington. He lives in California. And then Daryl Hubbard, he owns the D-Bar-D Pro Mod that Ed Thornton drives. He's going to go, and he's from New Mexico. So, where else would 3 guys from 3 different states meet in a whole different state just to drink some beers and go four-wheeling? Because we can't go racing. We haven't seen each other all year.
Right.
So that's what I truly love about it the best is all the people that you encounter and meet, and spending time with them because they're all good people.
Now, what do you hate most about being a drag racer?
Sitting in the car, waiting for them to start us up. We're all buckled up. That's my least favorite part. I don't like thinking about it. I want to just do it.
Now, if you could have your... Go ahead.
That's definitely my least favorite part is the anticipation. Once all the work's done, then you're just waiting to go make a pass.
It gets even worse if you have an oil down. You got to sit in that fire suit longer.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot.
Now, Eric, if you could have your fans remember one thing about you, what would you want that one thing to be that your fans remember about you?
Well, that's a tough question. I don't know. But I was honest, always an honest and fair drag racer. I never tried to cheat, never tried to pull any dirty tricks on anybody. I just pulled up to the starting line and let my car do my talking.
Now, do you think you could get any better as a race car driver? And if so, how do you achieve that?
Well, you can always get better, and perfect practice makes perfect. You just keep running the car, and every time, there's a reason the cars go faster and faster each year. It's because you just learn new things, and you make new passes, and it just gets easier and easier. But it's because you keep practicing and you keep trying, and you just keep on going.
Yep.
I don't even know why. It's crazy the amount of money that a guy wastes on it. But it's definitely the love of the sport because you tell yourself how ridiculous it is, and then you go and do it again the next weekend.
Yeah, all that money just for that little amount of seconds to go down the track.
Yeah, just for 5 or 6 seconds of fun. And the most amazing part is probably the crew of guys that go with you and help you because you couldn't do it without them. You just couldn't. There's literally a couple hours of maintenance that you have to do if it was one person. A few, if nothing bad. And without a group of guys that all know their task, and most of them are all usually volunteers, and you pay their way in, and you get them there, and you get them home, and you take care of them. But it's not like they're making $400 or $500 a day. A lot of them are having to take time off of work, and it's just amazing how much everybody gives in the sport just for a few seconds.
Yep. Now, do you have any regular crew members?
I do. I have pretty much the same 5 guys go with me. Nelly Goat, we call him. He builds all the engines, and he's pretty much in charge of the whole thing. Him and I argue quite a bit. And I have Mark Wilcox. We help him. He has a Bonneville salt flat car. He holds a couple of world records in that. But he's usually my voice of reason when I go to get a little bit crazy with the tune-up. He usually calms me down. But of course, when I screw everything up on the computer, Brian Macy, no matter where he's at, usually can log onto my computer and fix it. But my cousin Tyler Tripp goes, and my boss goes, Mark Wilhelm, and my wife goes. She does a pretty amazing job. She takes care of the shoots, makes sure I get the car correctly. But it's a giant family of people, that all do it because they love it, I suppose.
Now, do you have any sponsorship?
The only permanent one that we have right now is the EFI store out of Lake Havasu. I've always kind of tried to keep it low key because when we can't make it, we don't have to
Yeah.
Ryan understands. So if you get a lot of sponsors, you get a lot more responsibilities because they're paying to have their name out there all the time. And if let's say you blow something up that you can't repair, and I'm not going to say I'm low budget, but I don't have a lot of money. I can't. If you really tear something up, but sometimes it's really hard to get it put back together. I have 2 complete engines now. Since we switched to a Hemi, I've been just gathering parts, and that's the key. Because pretty much all the racing we do, we have to drive 1,000 miles to get there. So you don't want to drive 1,000 miles, make one pass, and load it up and go home.
Right. So now, how was your first time experience ever going down the track in a pro mod?
It was a lot less scary than my drag radial car. My drag radial car was just kind of always on the edge. It did take wheelies sometimes or blew the tires off. You just never, ever knew what it was going to do. At least I didn't. And the pro mod, it's just kind of more reliable. I've had it get sideways on me and, scare me really bad. But it's not the same as the drag radial car. The guys that are driving the drag radial cars these days they're good drivers and they're going fast. I would have never thought that there'd be a day that they're going as fast as they're going. It's props to them because it's pretty unbelievable what some of the boys are doing and girls.
Yep. Now, when you get out there on the track, John, do you have any? Eric, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions, Eric?
I wouldn't say so. There's nothing that we always do the exact same. None that I can think of.
All right. Do you have any favorite tracks?
My favorite track is Bakersfield. Bakersfield's always been really good to us.
Yeah, that's a legendary track too.
It usually, I don't think I've ever had trouble in the starting line. And I like Vegas. I got bad memories in Vegas. But I still like it. I still go there. I haven't been there since they switched it to 4 lanes. My home track is Pacific Raceways in Washington. It's a pretty fair track. You can go fast there.
That Pacific?
Yeah. My roommate's actually in charge of the track prep at the race. He does a pretty fair job.
Yeah, I know they've been closed up for the COVID-19 all year, right?
Oh, they've had it open a few times this year, but there hasn't been any real big races. They're only allowed to have like 50 people or something at the racetrack. It's kind of silly.
Yeah, I had one friend that lives out there. They said they're mostly doing testing, but testing is closed to the public.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think there can be any spectators at the race. Our governor's kind of crazy. He definitely doesn't like drag racing.
Now, does it take a lot of preparation to get that pro mod ready for a weekend?
We usually try to have it ready before we leave the track, the race prior, But it's usually about the same. As long as nothing is bad, we usually inspect the entire chassis before we go to make sure that there's nothing that got hurt in the past before, because they like to bend and whip bars and you don't know about it. It holds up really good. I lucked out with my car. It's a really good car. The people that built the car ended up becoming friends with them there. The driver of the car's name was Barry Crennan, and he was running it in pro mod with a big blower motor in it, and he ended up passing away in a helicopter accident. Is how I ended up with the car. and they've helped me with the car as well.
Now, have you ever done any quarter mile racing, Eric?
That's all I do is quarter mile racing.
How about eighth mile? You've done eighth mile before?
No, sir. I tried it a couple times, and it's just not my cup of tea. Especially when, if it's all you had, I would do it, if that was it. But I just have trouble on a quarter mile track with a big shutdown going, racing on half the track. And anybody who knows me knows that. But I'm not a fan of the 8-mile racing.
Yeah, a lot of those guys that do the eighth mile, they love it because they say it saves on wear and tear on the car.
Yeah, I don't see that when you walk through the pits because they just turn the cars up even more, you know. Before they would limit the car a little bit, they wouldn't have it to where it had its tongue hanging out. Now it's just the same as the fuel guys racing 1,000 feet. They just found a way to go faster than 1,000 feet. And if they tried to go quarter mile now, and with the same tune-ups, they wouldn't make it. You know, they'd burn everything up. Those guys they're fast doing 8 mile. I'm not taking anything away from them. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right. Yeah.
I rode bulls for a long time in my youth, growing up, and that's what I was telling them. When they switch bull riding 4 seconds, then I guess I'll start racing half the racetrack.
Yeah, we got a pretty cool pro mod group up here in the Midwest called the Chicago Wise Guys, all quarter mile racing.
Right, and then our group, Extreme Pro Mod West, we also race quarter mile only too.
All right, now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from, Eric?
Well, it used to be a local guy right here, and his name was Al, and it just got too expensive for him to keep recertifying everything, so he officially retired. I officially need a new fire suit, so I don't know for that question right now, because I have to get one. So in a 20 and a 15 suit, you have to get them redone every 5 years, and mine's up, and he's retired, so he can't recertify it, so I'm in the market for new tires.
Now, so far in your drag racing career, have you reached any milestones?
No, I would have never thought that we fought forever to go 7 seconds in the drag radio car. This was in 2011, you know, and it was there was a couple people doing it, and we were still on leaf springs, and we were one of the top cars on leaf springs, and we went 803, 806, 809, and we turned it up a little bit, and the next pass was at 777. Like, you couldn't have wiped that smile off my face and we battled, you know, we were close to the 8s for a year and a half, but we just couldn't do it. Or the 7s, I mean, and then bang, we went all the way into it. So the next pass, I pulled the car back. I still want my 7-second pass.
Now, as far as accidents go, you only had that one accident?
No, we whacked the wall a couple times. I think we did it once where were we? We were in Redding, California. Not bad. Just kind of hit it with the rear quarter panel. And then I had a tire blow up one time that tore the car up. But that's pretty much it. I just few really close calls.
Well, knock on wood, you're not going to have no more accidents, Eric.
No, we changed our whole program around after we did, because I was knocked out when I hit the wall, and we made it easier to shut, because I went to turn the car off when I tried, and it would have saved a whole lot of carnage. if I had done it. The throttle was stuck wide open. And now there's a big giant red button, or the engine, after whatever time we put in it, the engine automatic power just shuts off, whether you're done making your pass or not. If you don't override it, it's going to shut off, and that'll be the end. You know, it's just a safety feature that, because of my accident, we learned from it. That it's just something that you're never going to plan on, you know. And I've been knocked out a whole lot, and the last time I got knocked out after they monkeyed with my brain for a while, just told me that each time you get knocked out, it gets easier and easier. And, you know, it sometimes it's not going to take as much as another time, and it's just something you don't want to be, you know, knocked out in a race car. You never know. They were actually scared I was going to spin around and come back out the starting line. I don't know if you've seen the video. It's not very pretty.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, outside of drag racing, do you have any other hobbies?
Jeeping is my new hobby.
Jeeping?
So about Jeeping, like four-wheel drive.
Right.
About 4 or 5 years ago, all my family and everybody all has Jeeps, and they were always going Jeeping and wanting me to go, and I never went. So I decided to build a Jeep, and that's a lot of fun. It's fun all day. You don't just get one quick pass and have to work on your car all day. You can break some parts, though. They break pretty good, too.
Now, throughout your racing career, have you won any trophies?
Oh, yeah, I got quite a few trophies. I was track champion a couple times down here. As long as I stay in a small pond, I do pretty good. It's when I go and race with the big boys, and it's a lot harder. We runnered up at the Streetcar Super Nationals. That was a good one for us.
Now, if you were able to hit a time travel machine and go back into time, Eric, would you do anything differently with your drag racing career?
Man, everybody's gonna. I'd switch the turbos a lot sooner than I did. I bagged on the nitrous forever. On the turbo guys forever. I teased them and teased them and teased them. And then Brian Macy talked me into putting them in, and it's the most amazing thing ever. So if I had anything to redo, I'd have put them on a few years sooner. Saved a lot of pistons.
Are you ready for a few fun questions here now?
Sure.
What is your favorite food that you like to eat?
Steak.
You're a steak guy, huh?
Yes.
Alright, what's your favorite beverage?
Vodka.
And how about if it's non-alcoholic beverage?
7-Up.
Alright, what you a movie person? You get to watch movies at all much?
Not a whole lot, but I like the Vikings or Game of Thrones, that sort of stuff.
You have a favorite movie of all time?
Pulp Fiction.
Alright, what's your favorite type of music to listen to?
80s rock.
You have a favorite 80s rock band?
AC/DC.
Now, AC/DC, you like AC/DC, Brian Johnson singing, or way back when with Bon Scott singing?
No, the more recent.
Brian Johnson, alright.
Yeah.
Now, have you been there? Now, do you go to concerts at all?
Not so much. I've been to a few.
So what's the best concert you ever went to?
Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, rest in peace, Charlie Daniels.
Yes, sir.
The-
That
Don't
was
ever,
a big outside festival. It was a heck of a lot of fun.
the devil went down to Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you didn't become a drag racer, do you have any idea what you would have become?
I do not. Probably a troublemaker.
So the drag racing keeps you out of trouble then.
I'd say so. I'd say it helps. Keeps me busy.
Alright, when you were growing up as a little kid, did you have a favorite cartoon to watch?
No. I didn't watch much TV when I was a kid. I was always outside.
Play until the streetlights come on?
Oh, yeah. And then some.
Yeah.
Ruining my dad's tools.
Yeah, that's what's not so much different these days from when we were kids, man. The kids don't go out and play that much anymore.
They don't. They sure don't go out and work on anything. And there's some. You know, I have a bunch of kids that work for me, and they're they all have needs, and some of them have race cars, and they're mechanically inclined. But as a whole, I don't believe it's the same as it used to be, for sure.
Right. Alright, now, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you had during a race? Did you do a burnout and the car shut off or any kind of stuff like that?
Oh, that happens all the time. That's not embarrassing. That's drag racing.
Well, some guys tell me that's their most embarrassing moment.
Oh, man. We just haven't done it enough yet. I don't know. I think I'd be more disappointed than embarrassed. But
Did you ever knock out any cones?
just when I crashed and I was sleeping, so I don't think you can't prove it.
Alright, so you don't have no embarrassing moment.
No, I do. I missed the scale one time and I actually won the round, so I actually got disqualified. We were in a big hurry and everybody was hooting and hollering and we rolled right past the scales.
Alright, now when you're at the track for race day, what are your eating habits like? Do you eat regular or do you eat light and wait till the races are done to eat?
Usually eat light.
Now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career? Eric?
I'm thinking.
Oh,
I'm thinking.
okay.
You know, I think it was probably the night after my crash and I came back to the racetrack. And all the concern and the love that I got. It was just genuine.
You're breaking up, Eric.
Yeah, there's a train going by. I'm up on my roofing my house today.
Ah.
And I don't know a lot, but I know that I'm a better drag racer than I am a better roofer.
Alright, so what's your biggest pet peeve?
People being rude to the workers at the track.
What's your favorite color?
What's that?
What's your favorite color?
Flat black.
Now,
I don't think that's really a color, but
are you a dog guy or a cat guy?
dog.
Do you have any dogs?
We have 3 dogs. All 3 of them are rescues.
What kind of dogs are they?
2 pit bulls and a shepherd.
How old are they?
Don't really know because they're all rescues. But so my wife, when we got together, she had her dog. He's probably 9 or 10. And then anybody who's been to the racetrack knows my dog Hank. He wears earmuffs at the racetrack, so he's pretty popular. He's a pit bull. And then when we bought our new house, we had enough room to rescue another one, so we rescued another female pit bull, and her name's Frida.
So they all get along good?
Pretty good, like brother and sister.
That's cool. Now, Eric, if people are listening in and then they want to, follow where you're going to be racing at and all that good stuff, what's the best way for people to follow you around?
Go to Extreme Pro Mod West, and they have our schedule. They won't have this year's, and I think all of our races but one got canceled or they won't have next year's up yet, but that's what it will be.
Awesome. Well, Eric, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. You have any final words, shout-outs, any good stuff like that before we close out?
Well, all you drag racers, be nice to all them young ones coming up because we need them to keep our tradition going. Because without them, we're not going to have anything.
Yep. Well, thanks again, Eric, and I hope you have a great night.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.